Well, hello. How
Hello.
are you this evening?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you?
Good. I'm looking here. Let's see here. Yep, here we go. We're just going live. Okay. Life is good. Life is good. How was your Easter?
It was wonderful. Wonderful. Had a great time. Went to mom's. Had a wonderful dinner.
Mm-hmm.
Afterwards, my younger grandson brought a game with him,
Mm-hmm.
and we sat around the adults and the kids were playing the game, and we laughed and we laughed. We had such a good time. Such a good time.
That's good.
It
That's
is.
it
It
is good because you know what? That's what life's all about. That's the way it should be. You know?
We need laughter.
We need to laugh. Everybody needs to laugh.
Yes.
There's got to be something funny about life cuz right now there ain't one thing that's funny. Not one thing right now.
No.
What can you find funny? In the news, what do you got going on in the news? Let's see. Let's start off with old P Diddy. What do you say?
I say throw the key away. I mean, it's sad. It's
Mm-hmm.
disgusting. I I have no other words. I mean, it's sickening
Mm-hmm.
how many people are involved.
Oh, I think you're going to find there's a whole bunch of people involved. And I think you're going to find out that a lot of them have a whole lot of money, too. Lots and
I
lots of
think
money is there.
I think this could very easily be the downfall of Hollywood.
Well, you know what I'd like to know is
Let me
what.
rephrase. It could be the downfall of the elite of Hollywood and the elite of the music industry.
Oh, I think so. I think so. You know what I'd like to say? What were those tunnels for? He had tunnels. His tunnels led to the Playboy Mansion.
Oh, I knew he had tunnels. I didn't know it led to there.
Yeah, it went there and it went everywhere else to other people's houses and everything. Yeah, he was up to a lot of no good.
Well, how do they build these homes? And nobody knows about it or says anything about it. Somebody's got to be doing it. And I mean, you can't tell me that you're paying the construction workers top dollar to shut up.
Oh yeah, no. No. They know what they're doing. They know how they can get away with anything. I'm telling you what. He's a
No,
billionaire.
blackmail probably if you say anything. You know
Well,
how many people have been unalived? That's my new word. I've heard it so many times that they are unalived.
mhm. Mhm.
It's going to be my new word.
Well, they said from what I understand that he was somehow involved in that Tupac unaliving.
And Biggie.
See? See? You know what? Come on. Come on, you can't people can't be this stupid. They just can't be.
They're also throwing into the mix now too, Michael Jackson.
Yeah, poor Michael. They were saying that there's a guy by the name of Ron Buckle or
Burkle.
Burkle that was his manager, and he's multi-billionaire. Now you explain to me. He owns everything. He's involved in everything. You explain to me how he got his hands on the Neverland Ranch. Picked it up on a fire sale.
You know, I was watching and I saw on one of the things I was watching that Paris Jackson came out and said they murdered her dad.
Well, I believe they did. They said what they said was the day that all that happened, that Michael Jackson had more energy than he had had in weeks.
Right. Right.
And he had told his sister Latoya, uh, if so, they're trying to kill me, they're going to, or something, they may try to unalive me.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Right. Exactly. And it's like, I mean, here today, gone tomorrow. But was he smart enough to get away before they did it? I mean, I know that's conspiracy, 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 and I get that. And I understand that. But I just have this feeling like none other that he's still alive out there.
Who,
He
Michael?
was the master of disguises.
Well, they say Elvis is still alive, and he's that preacher over there in Missouri. Who knows?
Mm,
Because Elvis got himself involved with the mafia,
yeah.
and
And the
he
FBI.
and he was real deep involved with the mafia.
Hmm. I also saw that when he was doing one of his last concerts, he said that no one will ever be allowed upstairs. And from my understanding, nothing in his room or bathroom has been touched since
Really?
that day. Yes. But he said nobody will, that was his private space. And that will continue to be his. Now it makes you wonder. Nobody will ever go up there even after I die. Why?
Right. Well, they said that they don't think that his Lisa Marie's dead has gone either. They think
Right.
that she's hiding out somewhere.
And there's only a handful of people, that why the conspiracy goes around them. I don't get it. But I mean, other people that die, it's like, oh, that's sad. Okay, they died.
Hmm.
But I think it's just I don't know, it's the show and the pomp and circumstance of Michael Jackson dying, Elvis Presley dying, Elvis Presley's daughter dying, you know. And they didn't make a big hoopla out of when Lisa Marie's son unalived himself.
No, they didn't. They
No,
didn't. They never said a word.
no. And, how come all this garbage with P. Diddy, Puffy Daddy, or Sean Combs, or whatever he's calling himself this week, how come it's not in the news? How come it's not on the news? Any news?
That,
No news.
that's a good question.
It's
Because
on
you
no
don't
news.
see it on the Fox channel or anywhere else. Well, wait a minute. Now, you did see when the feds went in.
Right. You
They
saw
show
the.
that. They showed that. They made sure they showed that they went in, the feds went in. So,
Mhm. Right.
and
But what else did.
the feds have to have some really good evidence to go in and shake your home down the way they did.
Well, and you know what? I'm holding my tongue. That man left his kids, which I'm okay, they're older. They're not kids, but he left his kids in that home to be handcuffed
Hmm.
while they went through the house.
Well, one
What
of his kids have been indicted. They haven't even indicted him yet, but they indicted his kid.
Yeah, I can't call him a man again. What person does that? Now, I could understand. I'm a mom. I love my kids dearly, but right is right and wrong is wrong. If you went out and you raped somebody and I knew about it, bye bye.
Hmm.
Don't call mama again. If you went out and you killed somebody because you were mad or you were drinking and driving, or yeah, no, don't call mama. Nope, nope, nope. Other than that, I'll stand by your side. I'll be your biggest supporter. But yeah, no, there's certain lines you don't cross.
You,
There's just certain lines you don't cross.
you know what I find to be really truly amazing is how many big names are suing him.
Nah. And they're all starting to come out of the woodwork, pointing fingers. You got Rihanna coming out, you got J Lo coming out, you got all kinds coming out of the woodwork saying he did this and he did that and he did this. Oh yeah.
Yeah, because they're afraid. They're afraid because I think they had a little bit to do with all that too. They were at those
Mm,
parties. They were at those parties he was having.
mm-hmm.
I think that, well, they said that P. Diddy is just as bad as EP, if
Right,
not worse. If not worse.
right,
That the
right.
Hollywood, he'll be the takedown to Hollywood. Excuse me for just 1 minute.
Yes. So I I don't know what to say about it. Um I do know that it's a sad scenario for what happened to people and what's finally coming out. I hope into him, and I pray that all of this trafficking and all this other nastiness comes to an end.
You know what? They can't keep doing this to our children.
That's what I said.
That is the most important part of your life. That is the most precious thing you have. Good evening, Cam. How are you doing? Yeah, your children are the most important, precious thing you have in your life. And how these people can live with their self, doing the things they do. Do you know? I just looked up and I saw that we are missing 800 million children a year. A year. That's a
That's a
lot of
lot of
that's a lot of children. I don't know where you'd hide them at. 800 million children.
kids.
There's a lot more going on than what we know. I'm telling you that right now.
Mhm. And it's probably in countries that we would never think of where they're holding or whatever housing, however you want to say it, the kids.
Well, I'm kind of wondering if they ain't sacrificing them. Because I
That
think I think that
that
there's a lot of evil stuff going on. You know, and it's so sad. It is sad. It is sad they do that to an innocent little child that didn't even have a chance.
right.
There's a special place in the burning hell for them. I'm telling you right now.
Yep.
If I were them, I'd be down on my knees praying to the good Lord, saying, "Dear God, I am so sorry I did anything, and if you can find it in your heart to forgive me, because and if I still even if I still went to hell, I'd still want forgiveness because it's terrible."
I would be living night and day with a Bible in my hand, a rosary in my hand, a cross in my hand,
Mhm,
begging. But see, we have morals,
mhm.
so that would never happen. I mean, we do things that we shouldn't do, and and it bothers you. It tears at you, and you're praying for forgiveness, because you might have, I don't know, raised your voice to your parent or something, and you feel guilty for it because they're getting older, you know,
Right, right.
but it still eats you alive because you did it.
Well, don't you find it kind of funny that when you look at a picture of P. Diddy, he's wearing two crosses? I wonder if he even knows what it means.
With all diamonds and gold.
Yeah, and I don't even think he knows what the symbol means.
Mm-mm.
It's
No,
it's sad. It is so sad. Well, I'm
it
gonna
is.
let you go ahead and start your news for the day after we got done talking about P Diddy, because you know what? He just disgusts me. And when he goes to jail, he's gonna squeal like the loudest pig you ever heard in your life.
Right,
It's gonna take down a
right,
lot of people.
right. So before we start, I think we should disclose this is for entertainment purposes only.
Hmm.
And we may be right, we may be wrong. It's our opinions,
Right,
and it's not to be malicious to anybody or anything.
right,
It's
right,
just us shooting the breeze about what's on our minds.
right.
So,
Absolutely.
with everything going on in this country and the world, I decided that I wanted to write a letter to the United States government. Um, I hope people that watch this and is watching this will share it and get it to our government. There's a lot of things that just doesn't make sense in my world, and we the people want answers,
Right.
and we need answers. We deserve answers.
We do.
We deserve answers. I'm going to start first. Immigrants, veterans.
Hmm.
Why are our veterans, men that have had mental issues, health issues, have died for this country because of where they've been for this country and
Hmm.
everything else? Why are our veterans sleeping on the streets? Why are our veterans not getting medical care? Why are our veterans treated like, I can't even say if they're from a third world, because guess what? They're getting treated better as an immigrant. They're coming over here. They have health care. They're bringing all their nasty diseases with them.
Well,
And I'm,
our hospitals right now are full of all the
Mhm.
immigrants, and we had our first case in Colorado of leprosy.
Right,
Think about that,
right.
leprosy. That was way
I
back in the Bible days.
I
Leprosy
was just going to
was.
say that. That was back in Jesus's day. I didn't even think it was around anymore, honestly. But, somebody, Congress, Senate, somebody answer these things. Why would we treat men and women that showed no fear for this country worse than we treat illegal people that is a federal offense coming over here illegally?
It is a federal
And
offense. And you know what? When you come over the border and you're illegal, it's a felony. Now, let me ask you, now that you brought
right,
that up, now that you've brought that up, um, according to our laws, if you're a felon, you're not allowed to pack heat. That's
right,
against the law. But I just heard that the illegals are allowed to pack heat. What makes them any better than us? They don't have to follow our laws. They said what their comment was is that they fall under the Constitution, the Second Amendment of the Constitution. Well, they're not even a citizen to fall under any Constitution. I
okay.
yeah.
But wait a minute. They want stronger gun laws for the
Oh,
American
you
people.
know what it takes? Let me tell you what it takes. Do you know what it takes to get a gun in the United States? They do a background check on you, and it is an in depth background check on you. Now, you explain to me how they can just walk around and pack heat. I'd
Look,
really like to know.
if you carry a medical marijuana card, you cannot have a gun. I don't know anybody, and I've known a lot of people through the 70s, 80s, 90s, and even now. I know a lot of people that like their medical, and I don't know any of them that ever said, "Hey, let's go out and start shooting things up because I got high."
No.
Most of the time, I see them slither back in a couch and just chill.
I'm going to tell you what's really scary is right now in New York. In New York, they have one of the worst gangs from Venezuela that there is. They said that the MS-13 gang was bad, but the one that is in New York right now that is from Venezuela is by far worse, right?
Yes. Yep.
And they're just riding their bikes down the street, and they're punching women in the face and stealing their
Right.
purse.
Right. Now, I know New York is a busy city, and I get that. But, we have National Guard, we have this, we have that. Why are you not deploying to stop this crime? We are not a third world country. And again, this is going out to our government. Why are you letting them come over here and make it so that we're afraid to go out of our own homes? Hell, we're afraid to be in our own homes that they don't come beating down the door and take the house.
Well, speaking of that, I gotta tell you, on TikTok there was a one of those illegals that got on TikTok and told everybody that if you find yourself an empty house, you can just move yourself right in there and they can't get you out. And according to the squatter law, it's an act of Congress to get them out of there. But I
Florida's
gotta
doing something about it.
Well, I got news for you. I think I'd like to put a feather in DeSantis's cap there because Florida just wrote themselves a bill that said, you know what, you ain't doing that in Florida. It ain't happening. You ain't doing it here. And I think Texas needs to do that too. Um, Texas better watch out. It's getting kind of scary here. They people are going in and they're registering to vote and they don't even have to have a driver's license or a picture
Right,
ID or a birth
right,
certificate. They just
right.
go in and say, I would like to register to vote, and they get to register to vote. I looked it up on how many people were registered to vote this year, and we got 1,250,710 people that got registered to vote this year. And how many of them had an ID?
Right, right. Well, and I mean, this goes and it goes back and forth to both Republicans and Democrats. Somebody has answers for me. Somebody has answers for we the people. I mean, we need hardcore answers. We're tired of the garbage. We're tired of the lies because I mean, both sides of the wheel is lying, and we're done. We are done. I mean, they're lucky that they don't get another, J6, but only with a lot more people. And
Well,
I'm surprised that we don't have our southern people mostly, but there's northern people too and western people. But I'm surprised that they have not tried to overthrow the government yet because it's coming to that. We're tired. We're tired of other people getting more rights than us. We're tired about our senior citizens. Answer me this. How does somebody that worked their whole life, and I mean, back when they got married, they could buy a house for $500 and they could buy a car for, $50. And those were brand new. And because of our lovely economic situation,
hmm
senior citizens can't afford to live. More and more, look it up, more and more are living with their children and their grandchildren. Or the children are moving back home to help them because they
right.
can't their house is paid off. They can't afford the taxes.
Right.
How do you live on 12, 13, 14, $1,500 a month? How do you live on that?
Well, you know how you live on that? You're an illegal. Because if you're an illegal, you come over and they give you a $5,000 gift card, and New York's giving them $1,400 a month. And what else are they getting? They get a free ticket to go wherever they want to go,
And then they get on our welfare system.
and they
When,
got free health care. Mm-hmm.
and that's what I'm saying is, again, you're not taking care of your people.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Why? We worked, we put into that our whole life, and you're going to just give smittens? I mean, really, you've got people out there eating cat food for dinner.
I heard that about the elderly, and you know what, KMM, you're right. A lot of the elderly can't even afford their own medication. I was seeing some. My Meemaw has diabetes, and her Medicare medication. They sent her a bill and said it was $450 for her for 90 days. I think it was a Januvia or whatever. But people can't. People that age don't have that kind of money. So she had to call her doctor and tell him, don't give me that. I can't take that. You have to give me something else because I can't
Well,
afford that.
but wait a minute. I thought that somebody put a cap on insulin for $35 a month.
Nope.
That was the first bill he signed. Is that a
Mm.
lie?
Oh, was that the guy that likes to eat ice cream?
Yes.
Well, he didn't. He must have forgotten to sign it because you know what? Yeah, no. That man forgot. He can't even find his way to the staircase, much less know how to sign his
Right.
name. His
Right.
wife is on the campaign trail for him, and she's
Right.
just as crazy as he is. I heard her on the news say, "We are doing so good. We should be able to win without a problem."
Right.
And I thought, where are you coming from, Doctor
And
Biden?
right. Right. You know, I try to keep it fair, with both sides of the coin. But and the thing is that you look into people, and that's all you do. You bring them in for questioning. You have somebody sitting there saying that, you know, the hunter of the family perjured themselves,
But he didn't get indicted.
but he didn't get indicted.
Nope, nope. He didn't.
There were drugs found in the White House, but he didn't get
You know
indicted.
what? That should have been a sin right there by
That
itself.
is a sin.
You,
That
you,
is a sin.
I mean, there's a few places in this whole country that are, what's the word I'm looking for? Sacred. The church
Right,
church is one of them, and I believe the White House is another. And you don't
right.
go take your drugs in there and act like that in the White House. But
Well, I mean,
he did.
remember that one video of him on the balcony? You
Oh
could tell he was as high as a kite.
well,
If you grew up in the 80s, you knew that look, let me tell you.
yeah. And did you see Jill? She was a rolling her eyes like I thought they were
Right.
gonna roll them right out of her head.
Mhm. Mhm. Exactly. Exactly. I mean, the other thing is why are we wasting all this money on
KMM
indictments for Mr. T?
KMM said there are many different kinds of insulin. I had a dog who was a diabetic, and he got his insulin at Walmart for $25 per month. It was a human insulin. Any other pharmacy was 180. I know, my daughter has
That's
a
the other
dog that
thing.
has seizures, and they don't pay much for his medicine either because he's a dog. Now you explain that to me.
Right.
Just because
Right.
you're, you know what? I'll go. I'll identify as a dog if I can get my medication for cheaper. I'll put some ears on and bark a couple times.
Right. And I mean, why do we have um other people that won't push as hard as the other party to get things done? Look at all these indictments on Mr. T. Okay. I don't know where in the world it's okay for you to indict a man when he paid the loans back. The bank said we got no problem with him.
There wasn't even a victim in the whole thing. There wasn't a
Right.
victim.
But then you got what is it, Letitia?
Well, Letitia, you
And
know,
it's amazing how uh, 5, 7 years ago she was worth $150,000. She's now worth $15 million. How's that possible that you are just an attorney general, whatever you want to call yourself? If it makes you feel better, float it. That's fine. But are
no.
you going to look into her? Nope. Nope. You're not going to look into her.
Well, that's
The
because they're all
same.
cheaters. They're all cheaters. You know what? I'm sure Biden wasn't worth what he is right now. You, what do you make as a senator? 150, 180,000.
But you got to go. He's been in there forever. He's
Right,
one
but
of the old fossils that
yeah,
needs
but
to
he's
go.
got a lot of money now because he's money laundered his money through the Ukraine.
Well, yeah, because they gave themselves a raise because they couldn't live on $180,000 a year.
You know, KMM, the money that Trump pays for all his fines, they go on vacations with it. Look at Fannie Willis and her boyfriend went on how many vacations? Four in so many months. I'd like to go on vacation on the government. And you know what really kills me about that one is that judge. That judge said that his comment was he couldn't prove about her taking any of the money to use on her personal self, but he found it to be conflict of interest for the two of them to be on the same case together.
Right, right, right. Well,
What? How does that work? What about the
I don't.
money? What about the money?
Right, right. And then, please explain to me that a man that can't possibly withstand questioning because he's just too forgetful at this point in his life.
Yeah, short memory loss, and they said
How
he couldn't stand in court to go to court because couldn't be in court because he couldn't remember he had short memory loss, but he can run our government. He can be our
he can run
president.
our country. He can run our country, but he can't stand in court. That amazes me. And I want answers. I want the government to answer. We deserve answers.
Well, you'd
We
think
deserve
so.
truth.
You'd think so. You know what really scares me the most, Linda? What really bothers me the most is you know, unless they cheat like they have before, T ought to win this election without a doubt in my mind. So if T won, how's he going to round up all those people? There's 20 million of them. You think they're going to just go home? You think they're
No,
just going to
I
pack their
think,
stuff and go home, or you think they're going to fight to stay? And they're all
oh,
packing.
they're going to fight, but I think the Cajun Army is going to give a helping hand, the Cajun Navy, whatever they're called. I think the Southern good old boys, I think the Midwest good old boys, and I think they're all going to be in on it to round them up. I mean, they have a pretty good idea. No, well, they got to be keeping logs, don't they, of where they're sending these people?
No. Heck no, you know what? They gave them all a free cell phone, and that was the way they were supposed to keep up with them, right? They said, here's your white envelope that gives you your free gift card and your plane ticket to go wherever you're going. And here's your cell phone so we can get a hold of you when it's time for you to go to court and become a citizen. And
If they
there's a
even gave them real
there's
names.
well, and there's a garbage can. There's a great big dumpster full of cell phones down there. I've seen it myself. I went down there.
I don't know. Maybe here's a thought, Mr. and Mrs. Governments. Why don't we just chip them? They want to chip us. Why don't we just chip the illegals
I think
so we can
that
keep tabs on them?
they need to bring over their medical records because I'm a little bit afraid of what they could be bringing with them.
Do you really think like Uganda has medical records?
Well, none of them are ever been vaccinated. They don't believe in it,
Exactly. Exactly.
and they're all
Yeah.
sick, and they're making our people sick.
Right. Right. And I only have just a couple more questions
Sure.
for for the government. Um, Wasting money. We give you our oh, wait, let me rephrase that. You take our money for the good of the country to help run the country.
Mhm.
You take our money, but we have no say at all how you spend it. We have no say at all how you waste it.
Mm-mm.
We have no say at all where you give it to.
Mm-mm.
We have no say at all. So that brings me to, it's our capital, is it not? Did we not pay to build that?
Well, the Constitution is we the people, not we the government.
Exactly.
Hmm.
So, if that's our building, why are we locked out? You can't go in there. I would love to go down to DC, and I would love to go knocking on the door and be like, okay, I'm here. I got questions. I want answers.
And they'll
But you can't.
say, "Who the devil are you?"
Exactly.
Hmm.
Exactly. And
Hmm.
when all of that took place, you know, the loudmouth woman that her husband, whatever. And
Oh, you got to be talking about Nancy Pelosi. You know what? That woman has horns. I know she does. I know she
you know,
has horns.
and she's going to say, "You're welcome here anytime, peacefully." Well, I bet you if I went there peacefully, they would still turn me away. Number one, probably half of them would never even be there because they're never there.
They're always on vacation or something.
Exactly.
Um,
Exactly.
Speaking
But
of that January 6th thing, did you hear about that pregnant girl, that pregnant lady that she went into the Capitol and she fist bumped one of the guards and they said hello and she walked in there. She wasn't in there but about 2 seconds and she turned around and walked right back out and she was put under house arrest in her home. Yeah, yeah,
that's
and
what
now she's had her baby and now they're gonna send her to jail for a while, just like they
but
got
this
all
is
the
our
others.
building. But this is our building.
Yeah.
This is where our country, heads of our country, are supposed to do work for us and look out for us and look out for our children and look out for everything about the United States.
You
And it's you can't even go right or left anymore. You can't even go red or blue anymore. I mean, you've got bad players in each side, and they're all in it for the money, the money, the money, the money.
Oh yeah.
Maybe they need to do away with lobbyists. Maybe that's how they're all getting so rich.
Well,
Because
it's kind of funny, but our White House, it's built on a swamp.
I
That is really the truth. It is built on a swamp.
know.
And maybe there's something reeking out of that swamp turning these people into crazy people. I don't know, but I know one thing. You don't walk in on a job, or I never have. Walk in on a job with a savings account of $5,000 and 4 years later walk out with 15 million.
That
It, it just don't happen.
wouldn't that be nice though?
Well,
And get all paid holidays off, and
sure,
get summer breaks off, and get holidays off. And I mean,
sure.
I'm not talking about just the holiday. I'm talking about weeks at holiday times. And I mean, how many days do they really work? Answer me that. Can somebody answer me how many days do they really work?
Well, I don't know,
Like,
but Biden's always on the beach in Delaware.
right, right. And isn't it your job to be there to vote for things? And how can they get away? Well, nah, I'm just going to skip that vote. That's your job. I think, what would it be like if I was in the restaurant industry? So, what would it be like if one day I just said, you know what? I'm not going to give that table their food. I don't feel like
Oh,
it.
there'd be up in arms. People would be going crazy. Speaking of that, that Gavin Newsom over there in California, he made he made minimum wage $20.
I
Min-
know.
and then they want to know why McDonald's is making their hamburgers so high.
You know what? I'll tell you this much. I don't think very many of those people deserve $20 an hour until you can get my order right.
Right, right. That's the truth. Well, I always
I
could.
mean,
I always thought that fast food job was like a starter job. Those are for the high
wait,
school kids. But now at $20 an hour, maybe I'll go work for McDonald's. Of course, it
well,
ain't minimum wage here. It's
when
just
I
Newsom's area.
right when I retired 9 years ago, 8 years ago, I was making $20 an hour as a restaurant manager.
Hmm. Now you can just be a fry cook, be a or a hamburger maker in the back, or drive through person. You can just work front counter and make $20 an hour.
Exactly. And that was working my way up.
Unbelievable.
I started in the food business industry in the 90s, the early 90s, late 80s, and I was making $3.10 an hour, and I was not a server. I was not a server. I started out as an hourly employee at $3.10 an hour.
That's unbelievable. You know what? What's going to happen is everything's going to become automated. That's what's going to happen. People are
Well, it is
they can't
almost
afford it. You can't afford to pay somebody $20 an hour.
no, it almost is now because you go into McDonald's and they got those kiosks. You
Right?
type your order in,
Right?
and good Lord, don't want to pay cash for it because everybody looks at you like you got six eyes. And it's like, did you need something? It's like, yeah, pay for my food unless you want to give it to me free, but I'm an honest person.
No, they want you to play with your card.
I
Pull,
know.
pull out your card. I speaking of, I that just brought up something with me. On April 8th is you've got that eclipse that's getting ready to happen that everybody's going all crazy about the eclipse.
Mm, yeah.
Well, it's kind of funny, but do you know that during the time of the eclipse, there's a devil comet the same
You
time?
know, I just heard something about that today. Excuse me 1 second.
Uh-huh. It's called a devil comet. And it has supposedly horns on it. And it only comes by once every 74 years.
Hmm.
And it just happens that it came the same time as the eclipse.
You know, they've been saying something about all that. So, in conclusion to my letter
Uh huh.
to the United States government,
Mm-hmm.
this is Loudmouth Linda, and I want answers. Please, please share this video, like and subscribe. And I mean, don't you want answers? I don't care if you're red, blue, pink, or purple.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we need answers because both sides of the aisle are crooked. Both sides.
Oh yeah. In fact,
And they're stealing from you.
we got Republicans that are quitting the House. See, we had majority, but now we got these crazy ones that are going to leave early. But do you know if they'd have left before the 19th? If they'd have left before the 19th, we could have had a special election. But knowing that they leave after April 19th, that they get their seat appointed.
I did not know that.
Yeah, isn't that something?
Yeah.
Those rhinos that we got up there. And you think that the governor of these places are going to put in another Republican? We're going to lose a house.
Well, and that's what I'm saying is, you know, I mean, maybe we do need a new party. You know, the in my opinion, um, I think neither one are any good. I think they're just in it for the money. They only vote party, 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 party. They don't vote people anymore. It's just blue or red, you know. And I think I said before, I don't vote blue or red. I vote person.
For the
I,
person that
I
can do the job. You're
since I
right.
was 15 years old, I've been voting that way, and I will continue to vote that way.
Mm-hmm. It's the way you're supposed to vote.
And this division of the country needs to stop. You need to stop pushing the narrative. You need to stop with the nasty comments on both sides. And you need to put us, the people, in charge. And why can't we fire them? Is there a law against that? Why can't we fire them? Why can't, why can't, like, the state that I live in, why can't we get a whole bunch of people together and say, okay, you're fired? We don't want you. We elected you into office. So
I
why
don't.
can't we fire you
Well,
out of office?
I'm sure that you could probably get a petition going, and but
But then they
then
have to vote on it and they have to do an impeachment on it and they have to do this and that. And by that time, by the time the government does anything, it's 4 years later. And
you know what, Linda? What we really need is a whole bunch of God fearing people, honest, God fearing people to be in our government. Honest ones. That's what we need. We need to ask God back to
yes,
come back to our country because these crazy
yes,
people wanted to take him off our money. In God we trust. No, we don't want that on our money anymore. Wait a minute, I do. Don't talk for me. I do. I want it on
right,
my money.
right. How do a handful of people speak for a country of millions? How does a handful of people do that? A handful of people. It's like they can go to Congress or the Senate and get stuff done when it's against God or it's against country or it's against our Constitution or against our amendments. They can get it done.
Well, what about that one
You
that
and I
got
can't.
What about that Congress lady, or senator, whatever the heck she is, the one that Talib or whatever, and she got up there and was screaming genocide and all kinds of stuff. Why wasn't something done about her?
Why wasn't something done about the whole squad?
Yeah, why? You know what? They can say whatever they want to, and they can represent us, the people, and we can't do anything about it.
No, no. And you're up there, and isn't Talib in Michigan? I
Uh,
believe Talib is Michigan. And you're up there. How do you know you're speaking for all Michiganders
well, they think
when
they
you
are.
open your
They
mouth?
think they are. They
You know,
think they are.
if any of them ever got their butts out in public and talked to people, they would realize we're fed up.
We are
We
fed
are
up.
fed up.
We are fed up. That's interesting, KMM. In her state, there was a recall election for the governor years ago because he didn't agree with the teachers' union. Well, you know what? I wish we could do that with a bunch of people. Wish we could
Yeah,
do that with our president and do a recall election. I'm telling you. And you know what? And you don't want some people are so serious about it that if you bring it up, they get fighting mad. They just get so fighting mad.
I had that situation. I had that situation with somebody. They didn't like what I was saying, and out came the, oh, you drink that Kool Aid. I try to be as biased as possible, but wrong is wrong, right is right. And the other thing I'm going to say, I forgot. And this is one other thing I have for our lovely government. Why is Fauci not in jail?
You know, I just read a deal that said in 1970, I think in the 70s or something there, Fauci had a, that's when he had hair, by the way, because I saw the picture of him and he had hair. Um, he had he had did some kind of shot, and the shot killed 800 800,000 people or something. It was a lot of people it killed. This shot did, and
It was for HIV.
well, and there you go, and nothing happened. Nothing happened to him, and then
And nothing
and
happened
then
this time.
he reared his head again.
American people,
He reared his head
American
again.
people. This man went on national TV, maybe even international. I don't know. He went on national TV and told you, wear a mask. Came back a week later and said, you don't have to wear a mask. Came back a week later and said, yeah, maybe you should wear a mask. Then all of a sudden it was, well, better do two because two is better.
One on top of the other one.
And then it came out with three. And then it came out with, well, you don't need three. You just need the duckbill one.
Or wear a gas mask. Just put on a
Or
gas
wear a
mask.
gas
Everybody
mask.
just walk around in a gas mask.
Right. Walk into a gas station with a gas mask and see what happens. That's all I'm saying.
Well,
That's all I'm going to say.
I kind of thought when that mask thing came out, bank robbery could have been an easy thing. I mean, half the time I didn't know any of the people. They'd come up and they'd say, "Hey, Connie," and I thought, "Who are you? You got that thing on your face? I don't know who you are."
Right. Right.
You know.
That is the fear they put in you, that if you go outside after 10 o'clock at night, you're going to get that nasty bug. It only comes out after 10 o'clock. It knows what time it is.
Mm, it was a
So
smart thing. It was
all those
really smart.
people, all those people that are scared of their own shadow,
Mm,
that are, I mean, even the biggest, baddest criminals,
No, my
they didn't
face.
go out because that's why. It would have been too easy. It would have been too easy at that time. I couldn't understand why there wasn't more crime. I mean, not that I was promoting crime, but I thought the same thing. You got all these people walking around in masks. I mean, and people even went as far as, the gas masks and ski masks. You didn't know. You
No,
didn't know
you
who.
didn't know who was who. Well,
Yeah.
you know what was really good. I'm gonna tell you how smart this COVID disease really is. When you went out to dinner, that you had to wear your mask to go over to sit at your table, but once you got to your table, you could take your mask off. It was amazing to me that it knew I was sitting down and not to come over to my table. Was that just because I was sitting down?
Yep. Yep.
It's
Now,
telling
for
you,
all the people that we did lose to it, it's very sad.
it is very
It's
sad.
it is very real,
Yes, it is real.
but it's not, you know, it's not smart. It's not, it can't tell time, So they were lying to you. When is enough lies going to be enough lies for you? That's
Okay, ma'am. Look at she said I'm a skating coach, and we had to wear masks while skating, and it was disgusting. The mask got soaked from the condensation, and breathing in that cold condensation doesn't that cause pneumonia? It can't be good for you.
well, I have asthma, so I didn't wear a mask. And I think that's one time in my life I was very thankful that I had asthma because they were starting to say people that took asthma medicine were less prone to it.
There's still people wearing masks out there,
I know. I know. I
and I walk by them, and I just
yeah.
want to say, are you kidding me? Are you
It's
kidding me?
they put the fear of life in you because if you get COVID, you're going to go on a breathing machine and you're going to die. Well, if you're going to die, why put them on a breathing machine?
Well, I'm sure there probably were some people
Oh, I
that
know.
did get real sick.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
But the one
But
thing that scares me are these people that are these real healthy high school kids that are
yeah,
just dropping. No
heart
one can,
defects
yeah, nobody can understand what happened there. They just dropped and they died.
and the athletes.
Yeah, and they're healthier than all of us are. And
Right.
yeah,
Yeah, KMA, I have to, or KMA, KMM, I have to apologize. For some reason, I am not seeing your texts tonight. So I'm glad you're here with us.
oh, that's weird.
Yeah. So anyway, that's my little rant to the government. And I honestly want to get this to our government. We want answers. We're just a small little program out here, two women that are just throwing ideas and throwing questions out there. But we're not the only ones. We are not the only ones.
No, everybody's
I,
got questions. We all have
I'm,
questions. I have a bunch of questions. I'd like
yeah,
to know why, you know, uh, why if you're a felon, you can get away with if you're an illegal felon. I mean, some of those guys got out of prison and they're over here, so they're already a felon. They're a felon from their other country, and then they came over here, so they're a double felon because it's a felony to come over here. So they're a double
right.
felon. And how they can get away with what they can get away with. Do you know? I don't think because they're a citizen of the United States, I don't think they have to follow our laws.
Those are the American rules.
Well, and this is where I really have a problem, and I don't know what y'all think about this, but I really have a problem with, you really hated your country so bad you had to get away from it. because whatever reason you felt you were in danger or whatever was going on with you, you just didn't want to. I don't know. You came over here for whatever. I think you came over because we were giving free things away. But anyway, why are you hanging your country flag outside your either your window of your apartment or the ones that are living in tents are putting them on the top of their tents, their country flag? If you didn't like your country, then why are you hanging your flag out there?
And why are you fighting for your flag?
Yeah,
I mean, and why are you spilling your fighting in our streets? Hence, when the Israeli war started, you had the Israelis that were carrying their flag, and you had the Palestinians carrying their flag at the colleges, and they're going at it. Go home.
right.
Go home if
You
you want
want
to fight this animal.
if you like your flag so much, then yeah, you need to be where that flag goes, because we're Americans. I have a problem with where I hear people go, "You are a Native American and you are Asian American and you are, I don't care what color you are, you're American. American is American and it don't have a color. You know?
We're the red, white, and blue.
That's right. And it's about time people understand that what? America, to be an American is to be an American no matter what color you are.
Right, right.
You know?
And your blood should run for the red, white, and blue. And we have supported all the presidents. So it doesn't matter if they're Republican or Democrat, unless they, start doing some real shady stuff. Then you can't trust them.
Oh
But you can
my
fit it.
God. KMM just said the state of Minnesota changed their flag recently and now it looks like the Somali flag. What's up with that? That's a good question. What is up with that?
My gosh. Oh my gosh.
What? This is what I'm telling you. People have lost their ever loving minds.
Well, we have that one friend that keeps saying they're going to change the American flag.
That's because they want a one world government. They want a one world government. And I think about that from time to time. You want a one world government? There's a whole lot of people running different countries like Putin and that little rocket man and, uh, that Macron. And all. These are people that have a very big ego. Who's going to run the one world government? There's got to be one person in the head of it. They're going to kill each other up there fighting over who's going to be the number one person.
And let's just hope they don't choose Biden.
Oh
He
my
keeps
God.
finding his way off the podium.
Oh, well, you know what? That's
Three
probably the
times
one
a
they will pick. He'll think, but well, you know what? We can run him just like we can a puppet.
year.
Let's make him the leader of it all.
Right. I don't like bashing, that, but I mean, enough is enough. When you can't survive and you can't live and you've got married people that are working, both are working and you can't afford daycare. So the family's watching a baby because you choose to have a baby. You want a baby, you want kids to
Hmm.
fulfill your life, to fulfill your dreams. For whatever reason, we all wanted kids. Not all of us wanted kids, but the ones that did, we had our kids.
Hmm. Hmm.
And, we thought it was a little bit of a struggle back then. I wouldn't even try it now. And Ellie Mae's 3 months old.
You know, I
You
feel
know,
sorry for the kids that are growing up now because cartoon characters are reading story time to them. And some
Yeah.
of them are pretty scary. I'm going to tell you right now, some of them are pretty scary. You know, I want to tell everybody out there is listening. Has anyone in chat seen that movie, The World Left Behind, that Obama wrote with Michelle? It's on Netflix.
Michael.
Oh yeah, Michael Robinson wrote it with her with Obama. That's right. Well, if you haven't seen it yet, I encourage you to see it because it is jaw dropping.
It will open your eyes.
It
Me.
is jaw dropping.
You have to watch it. I mean, it can't be like background noise when you're on your phone. It can't be anything like that. You have to pay attention. You have to pay attention.
It's all about a cyber attack. Tell me that that couldn't happen right now, or tell me it hasn't already happened. I don't know. I don't know, people. We're heading in a bad situation, and I'm afraid. What I'm really afraid of is if T gets in, it's going to be all out chaos getting rid of these people that are here. But if he, but they may just turn around and start a war so that we won't have an election at all.
You know what? I just thought of something. When T got in the first time, all those Hollywood people that said, I'm moving out of this country.
They're all
Well,
still here.
you know, maybe if you would have moved out of the country, you wouldn't have this whole P. Diddy thing going on.
Right? Right? I'm
I
telling you
just,
what, you're going to find there's going to be some people that are going to be shocking. They're going to shock you that are hooked to that. And
oh,
he's
and
been doing it for
point
years.
they're already starting to point fingers at each other.
Oh, sure they are. Because you know what? Most of them are guilty. It's
Oh, yeah. Oh,
it's
yeah.
it's crying shame, and Epstein. Well, you know, there you go. That's another scary person. And you know what? I still don't think that he's unalive. I
Yeah.
don't. I don't. I think he's somewhere living the life because he knew too much.
Yep. Yep. I think so. I think so. But never in my life did I ever think that I would wake up in the morning and just want to roll over and pull the covers over my head and be like, no, not today. And it's getting harder and harder every day to get out of bed.
You know, I was watching the TV and they were showing that. I don't know if you remember it, but they had that. They taught us in school duck and cover. If you hear a siren, duck and cover.
Yes.
You know what? They had us so afraid of war at that time. Duck and cover. Get under your desk. Duck and cover. We have
And
lived
what
off
would a
of
duck and cover did
not
do?
not a dad burn thing. And you know what? They were using fear mongering at that time.
I think it really became noticeable in the 60s. And I think it really became noticeable with Kennedy
Yeah,
when they killed. That's when, and I mean, it could be before that.
yeah,
It could very well be before that.
yep,
But that was as blatant as you can get.
yep.
And from my understanding, it was mostly his own party that wanted him unalived.
Well, you know what? I'm going to tell you, they were afraid of him. They were afraid of him, just like they're afraid of T. And I want somebody to tell me why you're so afraid of T. I've tried to figure out why they're afraid of Ted. What has that man done that they want to totally destroy him and his family?
Well, probably the same thing that JFK did. He probably knew things that said, hey, I'm going to, these people have a right to know.
Because he wants to clean up the swamp.
He wants to clean up America. And, if anybody remembers at all, he started running as an independent.
Hmm. And he was a Democrat before he was an independent.
Exactly. He was a
Hmm.
Democrat, he
Hmm.
was an independent, and
Hmm.
then he turned to Republican.
Hmm.
So, I mean, that's kind of where I feel and I fall in. I voted for Democrats, I voted for Republicans.
Oh, yeah, I
And I've
voted
even,
for yeah, I voted for the person I thought was good for the job.
right. And I've even voted independent when I didn't like anybody.
You know what? I remember voting for Ross Perot because I didn't want Clinton to get in again.
I mean, that's you. I don't know. I don't know what it's going to take to wake up the American people. What is it going to take? I mean, they are coming on the TV, they're coming on the news, they're coming out on social media. They're telling you what they're doing.
Oh, they're right
They
in our face with it. They're right in our face with it.
And it's okay. I mean, how do you turn a blind eye? How do you turn a blind eye to what they're doing and that it's okay what they're doing? I mean, is it going to be okay the day that somebody in office, big name, who knows, I don't know, but is it going to be okay the day that they come out on social media and say, yeah, I'm a pedophile?
Oh,
Are you going to be okay with that?
there's another name for them now. They're not called that. They're called something about interested in little people or something. Everybody's got a different name. They identify as something else.
Well,
Identify
and
as a helicopter for all I care. You know what? You you are what you are, and that's the word we got for it.
the other thing is that when you were talking about those people reading books to kids,
Hmm.
I'm a little confused. If you put makeup on and put a wig on and put a dress on, why you still got a beard?
It's kind of scary, isn't it?
That wouldn't scare a kid.
That would scare me. That would scare me right now. That would
It
scare
scares
me.
me to see it now. Exactly. Exactly.
You know, it what they do, what they're doing is they're causing a confusion because
That's a distraction.
kids are like a blank slate. They're a blank slate,
Mm-hmm.
and what you teach them is where they go with it, and they learn. And
Right.
you know,
Right.
a lot of them are right now walk by stuff like that, and they don't even it don't even phase them.
Mm-mm.
I almost break my neck when I see stuff like that. I don't know.
It it literally makes me sick to my stomach. Again, I'll go back and we've said it time and time again. Do your own thing. Stop shoving it down our throat.
Right.
I don't shove me being a woman that like men down your throat.
No.
I, you know, it's my own thing. It's what I prefer.
Right.
Whatever you prefer is fine in your world. You don't, you, in my opinion, you have health mental issues if you're out there screaming, I'm gay, I'm queer, I'm transgender, I'm this, I'm a drag queen, I want attention. That's all you want. You want attention.
Well, when did we get to the point that everything's centered around sex?
Well, yeah,
It's all
exactly.
centered around sex. No matter where it's at or it's all centered around sex.
It is. It is. I
Y-
mean, you can't, every show, be it a medical show or be it a drama or a comedy, there's always a relationship.
Oh, I know. Yep, yep.
Like, I mean, before in comedies, yes, you had a mom and dad and a family. Okay, fine. And you might see them talking in the bedroom or whatever, but, you know, you didn't see them, make a comment on the screen and then both run upstairs to the bedroom.
Well, in the Mary Tyler Moore show, in the Dick Van Dyke show, they slept in twin beds.
Yes,
They're,
they did.
and they didn't want any of us to ever know why that to have two people ever slept together in the same bed.
And do you know with the Brady Bunch, that was the first couple that ever did sleep in the same bed?
See,
But if you
there you
ever
go.
noticed, they were both sitting up reading or something.
Yeah, they weren't. Well, now shooting them, tell you they'll show anything.
They will. They'll show anything, whatever. Sex sells. And that's sad that it's all revolves around sex. I mean, and it's not, they've taken a beautiful thing that God has given people
And
to
made it dirty.
to
And
create a beautiful life.
mhm.
'Cause that's what it's all about. You're supposed to be creating a life,
And they
you
made
know,
it dirty.
go out and
And
procreate.
they made it dirty. They made
And
it dirty.
they've made it filthy, they've made it disgusting,
Hmm.
you know.
Well, I'm just going to say one quick thing. In the Bible, there was a city that was called Sodom and Gomorrah, and
Yep.
I don't think that we live a whole lot different than they did then. Probably, in fact, we're probably worse. And God put His hand down on Sodom and Gomorrah, didn't He? Burned it right off the face of the map. We we need to open our eyes.
Right.
We need to treat our brothers like our brothers. Although I don't want. You're kind of afraid to treat somebody too nice because they might have just gotten out of prison and they want to beat you up or something or steal your purse. It's a sad situation, you
They
know.
have everybody living in fear.
They
They're
do.
fear of something.
Yeah,
Something.
yeah.
You're afraid, women are afraid to go out alone at night. Women are afraid to actually go out alone at all.
Mhm.
Period.
Mhm.
You fear for your children. They can't go outside and play like we did. Ain't no kid going outside till the street lights come on
Well,
with me around.
Emmett don't play outside anyway. He puts that little box on his head and he plays wherever he thinks he's at. He's in his virtual reality world, and him and his friends. He's got all those friends in that little box. But kids can't be kids anymore, and it's sad. It's
Mm-mm.
very
Yeah,
sad.
because
Well,
what's so sad is that you got to worry about your kid, what they're learning at school, and they're coming home asking you adult questions.
you're right.
And it's
You're right. And
they're,
there's
in third
just
grade. Why are you worried about that?
and there's some questions you just don't want to answer. KMM just said, "Let kids be kids. Let,
Right.
don't make them grow up too quick because they grow up fast enough as it is. They
They sure
do.
they sure do. I,
One minute you're teaching them to walk, and the next thing you know, you're walking down an aisle with them, and they're getting married.
I was just telling you earlier, Ellie Mae started eating cereal today.
See,
She's 3 months old.
but
That was a quick 3 months.
before you know it, she's gonna be walking.
I know. I know. She's already trying to sit up on her own. She's
See,
been trying to sit up on her own for a couple of weeks
they
now.
do. They grow up way too fast. Way too
Yeah.
fast.
Yes, they do. They certainly do. I mean, people just need to stop and smell the roses again.
You're right.
I
We live
mean,
fast pace. We live a fast paced life. We lose out on a whole lot of stuff.
and the thing that's so sad is that it's all about money. And it's about money for greedy people.
Or
It,
sex. Or
yeah,
sex.
it's about money for poor people because they don't have any to eat or
Hmm.
survive.
Hmm.
So they've got the whole country turned upside down. And, honestly, at this point, I am a compassionate person and I feel sorry for third world countries. But, we need to take care of our own first. And I, I give I give to organizations that are here in the United States. I don't
Right.
mind helping people. I don't mind
Right.
helping people as well. But, when we have homeless people and we have senior citizens eating pet food because it's the cheapest thing they can get at the dollar store, or they don't have a couple of bucks and they have to choose between their pet food and a box of cookies, they'll choose that pet food for their pet over that box of cookies
I know it
because
is. It's
they were
sad.
raised.
It's sad. And you know
I,
what, KMM? I'll bet your grandson is the best thing that you've ever had. That's what I was saying. Our children are the most precious thing that we have.
my kids are grown, your kids are grown,
Hmm.
but they're still special to us. They're still
Oh,
our babies.
they're still my lifeline. It's just the
Right, and
way
you
it
wait
is.
till babies have babies. Oh,
That's what I've heard. They say the grandchildren take an extra special part of your heart.
just when you thought you could not love anybody anymore, this beautiful baby, KMM, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. This
Hmm.
beautiful face comes in, and even right after birth, they don't know what they're doing, but they smile.
You know?
And your heart just goes bloop, and
Yep.
that's it. It's melted to mush, and it's like, oh my gosh, I
Hmm.
never knew I could love anything this much.
And then,
And
and then you look at the news and you see what's going on, and you think, yeah, I gotta tell you, when I was bringing my kids up, used to see parents where they had their kids on a leash. They had a harness on them and had a leash.
that
Okay, well, and
was
I
one
used
of
to,
mine.
and I used
One
to
of
think,
mine. He used to, yeah,
and I used to think, wow, that's kind of cruel. But I'm going to tell you right now, I'd do it right now just because people are snatching them.
yeah, yeah. No, I did that with my younger son. He was notorious for just wandering away and looking. I always told him, look where you're going, not where you've been, because he used
Right,
to try. He'd always be looking over his shoulder, and it's like we just walked past that. You saw it. You don't need to keep looking back.
right, right.
You know. But he was very notorious for just walking off and getting something in his head and wandering away. Luckily, we've never lost him, but yeah, no, I was one of those moms, and it was mostly only when we went to like a mall. Do you
Sure.
remember those? These big buildings that had a bunch of stores in them, a shopping mall.
Well, Mima said I was one of those kids that should have had a leash. She didn't have one, but she said you should have been on a leash. Well, I think we're about ready to close it up for the night, don't you think?
I think so, and I think that we should do a fun show next time.
I think so too. I think that next time we should, seeing as KMM is real close to our age, or in that age group, and
Hmm.
whoever else is in here, I'm sure they're close. Let's do some nostalgia. Want to? Let's go back. let's let's go back to when times were fun.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I think we all need a little bit of fun. And KM, I really want to thank you for being with us every week.
Always, she's the best. She said her daughter used to do cartwheels through the mall. I couldn't even do a cartwheel, so but I could
Well,
sure
it is.
run. I could sure run. I'm telling you, I could sure run. Well, everybody, it has been a pleasure. It has been great, and we're gonna do something fun next week, next Thursday at 6 o'clock Central Time, 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and let's have fun because you know what, life's too short.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
Yep, please,
We'd love
please.
to hear from you. We have at the bottom running is our emails that you're more than welcome to send us your comments or whatever you want to send us.
Yep.
Um, and we'll continue on and forward. We do have a lot of great stuff coming up.
Yep, we're gonna have fun. We decided, I mean, you turn on the news. If it's really important, I'll talk about it. But boy, I'll tell you what, if you turn on the news, you could be here all day long talking about one sad thing right after another, or disgusting, or whatever.
Hmm.
We need some fun in our life. We
Yes.
need we need to be able to shine that light that we have bright, and you can't shine it bright unless you have fun with it. So, yeah, next week we'll have some fun.
Maybe we need to get one of those spinny wheels and spin it and put like different silly topics or something on it.
Yeah, something.
And you just have a little bit of fun from time to time, or ask the audience, or do like, I don't know, something like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire or something.
Well, we already know who wants to be a millionaire. All those guys up there that live on the swamp want to be a millionaire.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And they are, most of them. Well,
Right.
KMM, we enjoy having you. And
Thank you.
and everybody else, bless you. You have yourself an amazing rest of your week. I'll throw out some kind of video next week. I don't know what about, but we'll see. And Linda, always a pleasure, honey. Always a
It's
pleasure.
a pleasure, Connie. Oh, and I probably may start doing videos down the road. So
Good. Good.
watch for loudmouth Linda. And,
Good.
hopefully we can get some answers for everybody.
Yeah, we need a
And
bunch of them.
yep.
Yep.
Because like you, Connie, I can have a few rants.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I'm telling you, Clyde tells me if you rant one more time, I'm leaving the house. All right. You promise? All right.
Uh,
Well, love y'all. It's been
love
fun.
you all. Thank you so much for your support.
Good night.
And we'll see you next time.
All right.